Libya. This was just a normal country, just as Morocco, Tunisia or Egypt on the northern shore of Africa. In 2011, however, Colonel Gaddafi was removed forcibly from power and killed, and this got Libya into a series of war, civil conflicts and death, resulting in Libya pretty much losing 99% of its tourist flow that it once had pre-2011. After the ceasefire of 2021, however, a few international tourists have started flowing in again into the country, and so have we. We have come to Tripoli, capital of Libya, as tourists, and in today's video we are indeed going to spend 24 hours touring around one of the country with the greatest political instability in the whole world. Join us. As always, we start from the basics. Independent travel is not yet allowed in Libya, so that's why we have a guide, and more importantly we have fellow companions, because you can't travel by yourself in Libya, so you need to be on a group tour. And that's why this is the massive car. As you can tell from the size, it was probably imported secondhand from Texas or maybe Colorado, I don't even know, definitely somewhere from the States. And it's this car that me and 3 other fellow intrepid travelers will travel on along the Libyan coast towards the east, towards the magnificent tourist destinations that you can find to the east of Tripoli. And then the other quirk about Libya is that you need to be accompanied at all times by a member of the tourist police, which is the one that you see just to our right. Our goal for our 24 hours as tourists in Libya was to follow the most common touristy path of the country, driving along the Mediterranean coast to reach the city of Misrata, the 3rd largest city in the whole of Libya, which was the center of the 2011 revolution. How is it now with the safety situation in Libya? Because obviously now we've got you as our guide, and I have to say you're absolutely phenomenal as a guide, so thank you for that. But we also have our sort of security escort. What do you have to say to people when it comes to safety and security situation for tourists here in Libya?
If you will speak about today in 2024, it's stable, it's okay. It's better than 2 years ago or 4 or 5 years ago. First, for the Libyan, we can move now.
Right, okay.
You know, in morning or at night. Before 4 or 5 years ago, it was complicated. It's not very safety.
Okay. So
But
you wouldn't
now
leave
it's
the
okay.
house much?
Before?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
right.
at night.
Our guide Hisham told us that on the way to Misrata we would have stopped by one of the most famous Roman sites in the whole of northern Africa, Leptis, Magna. Because surely we were not the first Italians to set foot in Libya in history. The first people to ever come from the Italian peninsula into Libya were the ancient Romans.
And we also heard something about the safety and security situation here in Libya. As you guys heard, it's not the best, but it's definitely improving. It's not the same as it was pre-2011, but it's better than it was 5 years ago, for example. And that's why you still see a lot of police checkpoints on all major roads of Libya. We've just passed one. Obviously, you guys need to realize that it's very risky for me to be filming in all situations, so you guys will have to take my word for it. But we are definitely going through loads of checkpoints already on the way to Leptis, Magna. We do have all of our papers in order, so technically we have nothing to fear, but it's still interesting. It's my first time in a country with such a massive police presence, so you can definitely feel it, even though at the end of the day we've got permissions to move around as freely as we can, but I just thought that it was something worth pointing out. Dedicato a tutti quelli che stanno aspettando. And here we are with some lovely Italian music on the background, we've made it to Leptis Magna, what is probably the main touristy site of the whole of Libya. So if you do want to come to Libya, you're going to come to this place, definitely. Salam alaikum! Salam alaikum. Oh man, it looks like we're in Pompeii. And I've never even been to Pompeii, but look at it. This is definitely proof that the Romans came all the way here, all the way to northern Africa to conquer and to pretty much occupy these territories and build their own old towns. Look at it. Oh, and it goes on and on. Look, the thermal baths, and it says there, oh, we've got some writing. Communism nasce ciel. Our goal is communism. Oh, sorry guys, force of habit. This is actually Latin. It says Icauso Pilium Celi Valerius Riscus Pioco. I have no idea what that means. Surely my professor of ancient Latin is very disappointed in me if they're watching this video. But hey, looks like the security guard, the security escort has left us alone for some time. Maybe the security risks in this site, Leptis Magna, are not as big as they are elsewhere in Libya. So we're left by ourselves with the local guide, and I'm actually curious and I'm really looking forward to speaking to our security guide just to see what they have to say about the situation here in Leptis for the past few years. I'm curious to see how many tourists, how many international tourists he has seen over the course of the past 15 years. The only difference is that before 2011 you had a lot of tourists.
Of course, yeah, we had many tourists and also a big number of cruise ships people.
Oh, right, cruise ships as well.
Yeah.
Wow, you heard the guy. You even had cruise ships docking in Tripoli and the northern harbors of Libya up until a few years ago under Gaddafi. Whereas now, unfortunately, the only boats docking in Libya are the boats of maybe smugglers, human traffickers who are taking all those immigrants that have done the trip from sub-Saharan Africa to get to here, to Tripoli, in hope of finding a boat or a ship or a cargo ship even that can take them across the pond towards Malta, towards Lampedusa, towards Italy, towards the European Union. So how was Leptis Magna affected by the revolution and the war? Was there fighting? Was there war in Leptis Magna?
The whole area here was kept intact and well preserved by the controller of antiquities. Actually, no one could come here and
fight.
Fight. Even the people have got a high level of awareness because of these treasures and these artifacts.
I'll tell you one thing, I actually didn't tell my mom that I was going to come to Libya for my week's holiday. And at this point, I might as well not tell her anything. I might just send her a picture from here and say, look mom, I'm at the Colosseum, I'm in Rome. Look at this, the amphitheater where 2000 years ago you probably have a wind that was just as strong as it is now, but most importantly you would have gladiators. Whoa, isn't that amazing? Libyan, Italian, Italo-Libyan gladiators fighting out here at the amphitheater of Leptis Magna. I would argue that this is even more beautiful than the Colosseum. I've actually never been inside of the Colosseum, but this is more beautiful because of the fact that it's right by the sea. There you go, the Mediterranean pond. And just on the other side is Sicily and the original Colosseum, a few hundred kilometers to the north. Man, I can feel the pressure. I can feel the same pressure that was felt by the gladiators of 2000 years ago, having to do their performances in front of the millions and millions of people who would come down here from all over the Roman Libya to watch these shows. Look at it, this is amazing, and the acoustic here is absolutely fantastic as well. I reckon they could still hold some concerts in here. I don't know, maybe we're out here in the middle of the desert, so maybe the Oasis can come and play. 'Cause maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my wonderwall. Because the echo is amazing. Mic check. Wah.
After our brief visit to the best preserved Roman ruins in the whole of Libya, we continued on our way towards Misrata. On the outskirts of Misrata, that's when we learned that we would be able to appreciate Libyan history even more, as we were just about to enter Garibaldi village, which was an outpost that had been founded by the Italians at the times of the Italian occupation of Libya.
Does it mean that they were waiting for someone to enter? Is it not like an open village, like a normal village?
No, it's someone from Misrata.
Okay.
Our guide from Misrata.
Right. So how
Okay.
is Villaggio Garibaldi? People can live normally, but we just need a...
We will see.
We don't know, but we just need a local guide for safety
Yes.
purposes. My most sincere greetings from the outskirts of Misrata, where we've just made it to, and most precisely, welcome to Village Garibaldi. This was a village that was built by fascist Italy in the 1930s. It was built from scratch to give some housing to the resettlers, to the Italian resettlers that had come here to populate the region of occupied Libya. You can tell that this was built by the Italians by the fact that over there in the distance, I don't know if you can see it, you've got a cross, and that cross is at the top of a building that is not very common here in Libya, which is a church. Do you know who Garibaldi was?
One of leader Italian who's Union Italia, no?
No, he was a football player.
Ma sì.
I'm just messing with you. Davide, nice to meet you. Well, we've just met our guide. Why does it have to be so freaking windy every time that I want to make an exploratory documentary about life in Libya? Oh God, anyway, we've just met our guide who took us to the insides of a Villaggio Garibaldi. We can see here the church about which we were talking about a few minutes ago. It's abandoned, unfortunately. There's no priest anymore inside of this church, just because all the Italians have left. All the Italians who used to inhabit these houses right here. There's not that many. Maybe this village wasn't that big, but you can still see this house that is definitely reminiscent of the houses that you see nowadays, of the older houses that you see nowadays in the Italian countryside. Now that we've gotten closer to the east, we've also gotten closer to the hotspots of the civil war of a few years ago. For example, here you can see the bullet holes on this wall right here, which is quite eerie, I have to say. Are those because of war? Yes. War, okay. So we can see more war here because we're closer to Misrata, right?
Garibaldi village was weird. It was a place that didn't exist, then it started existing to be populated by Italians, then the Italians all left, and now supposedly there's a few Libyan families inhabiting the village, but we didn't see any, and it was almost deserted. And after that, we finally ventured into Misrata.
Parla italiano? No.
From Italiano? Oh, from Italia?
Yeah.
Oh.
Italia, England, Australia, Libya.
Yeah, I know Libya.
You're from Misrata?
Yeah, from Misrata. You visit this
Yes. We're in
work?
Tripoli.
Work?
No, tourism.
Tourism.
Yes. Tourism is possible in Libya.
possible.
Now more tourists are coming.
Yes,
Right?
I know.
And we're now walking on the main square indeed of Misrata with a floor that definitely looks Italian, I have to say. If any of you has been to places like Rome, Milan, Pescara, surely you've seen tiles like this on one of the main squares of these towns. And the other thing that is very interesting is one of the main landmarks. Salam alaikum. One of the main... Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't speak I don't speak whatever language you're speaking. But this is one of the main landmarks of Misrata, which is a bell tower. Very beautiful, I have to say. It's like the Big Ben, the Libyan version of the Big Ben. And it's just as big, well, it's not as big, and it's not as Ben, probably. Where are you guys from? Where are you from? Somalia. Yeah. Oh, Somalia and Libya, Italians, right? Italians were in Somalia. Mogadishu. Yes. Mogadishu. You're from Mogadishu. Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. Salam alaikum. Wow. There's even people from Somalia here, which definitely has something in common with Libya, right? Because those pesky Italians managed to put their hands in both Libya and Somalia. But truth was, we hadn't come all the way to Misrata to just hang around the main square of the city. Misrata was amongst the places in Libya with the largest anti-Gaddafi sentiment back in the day, and it was also the site of the hardest fought battles of the first civil war in the country, so we were very curious to see the signs of this bloody revolution on the streets of Misrata.
And now we've made it to the very center of Misrata, which is probably going to be our final stop for the day, for our exploration of Libya as tourists. And as I was telling you earlier, this is definitely the place where you can feel most the consequences of the revolution, of the bloody revolution of 2011 and the subsequent civil war. On the other side of the street, you've got residential blocks that have been permanently damaged and almost destroyed and are still standing there as a reminder of what war is capable of. And another reminder of war, you can see it on this side of the street with these tanks, these machines of death, as well as other weapons and ammunition, as well as, I'm not sure whether these are civilian cars, this might be a police car for what it's worth. And you've got some more stuff here.
Sniper.
Sniper?
Yes.
There was a sniper there?
Yes. Gaddafi sniper.
Gaddafi sniper
Yes.
were there?
We there.
You?
It was. Yeah. No, I am.
Not me, but like the people?
Yes, people in
Okay.
Misrata. There.
And then the people bombed the houses?
yes.
Or killed the sniper of
Yes.
Gaddafi? I see, so that's what happened.
ISIS make this in the center of Syria and they kill the people there.
Oh,
You know?
like a guillotine. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's so macabre.
Because military of Misrata attacked Daesh in Syria.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jeez.
They bring it here.
I barely want to know about it. It's just, yeah, it's just very bad. So yeah, the guy was telling me a bit about the history of those days, weeks, months of 2011, telling us mostly things that we already know. So the fact that they had to stay here, confined within city limits of Misrata, without electricity, without water, without I don't even know what. And it just makes me sad, really. The reality of those days for Libya, the reality of those days for Libyans, which are such amazing people. I mean, you've seen it throughout the day, in the last few days as well. And they deserve a lot more. They definitely deserve the glory of pre-2011 to come back, at least when it comes to tourism. Obviously, we know that the political system pre-2011 under Gaddafi wasn't the most democratic, so I'm not even sure about politics when it comes to Libya. I just wish they had some political stability which would allow for tourists to come back in the same numbers as pre-2011, and hopefully even in bigger numbers, because the country definitely deserves so, because of its people and because of its landscapes. There definitely is a lot of tourist potential here in Libya, but the safety situation has improved, but it does need to get better. Dang, Vicky, you're definitely one girl to be scared of. And indeed, I think we've made it all the way to the end. I mean, we didn't spend 24 hours, we spent a little less than 24 hours as tourists here in Libya on this video. But hey, we've made it to one of the last landmarks of Misrata, which is this very... When does this arch date back to? When? When was this built? When?
This arc
Yeah.
in building government.
Okay, I didn't really understand that, but okay, we've got this arch and the sun is about to set, is now very low on the horizon, and we're just about to make our way back to the capital of Libya, Tripoli. Guys, thanks ever so much for joining us on this adventure across Libya, and we'll see you next time. Cheers and thank you and bye.